What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another FPL video. My name is Mo, and today in this video I'll be going through Game Week 2's preview and thoughts within the FPL community going into our Game Week 2 deadline. So all the hot topics that we've seen on Twitter and social media discussed amongst the FPL community will be discussed, what my thought process is and how I think we can do the best going into our Game Week 2 team. But before we get into it, if you like what you see, you like the video, give us a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet to FPL INKLING, hit that subscribe button, help us achieve our next ambition of 1,200 subscribers. So let's get into the first question, which is around Wildcard. So at the moment within the FPL community, I don't think that since the last 7 to 8 years since I've been playing this game, I have never seen such a knee-jerk reaction in the first game week in itself. Now there could be two reasons for this. Firstly, we've got a lot of new members that have joined the FPL game itself. So you can see within the first game week already we have 8.5 million users. I intend that to hit around 10 million at some point in the next couple of game weeks. Whereas last year we really had around 9 million users. So maybe people aren't aware of how the game works in itself. So they've kind of used their wildcard early. Or secondly, the fact that we get like an additional one extra wildcard this season due to the World Cup. People have just gone, do you know what? I don't like this team in itself. I want to change the formation. I want to change the personnel, target these fixtures, these players, and they've played it quickly or quicker than they usually would have done in the first place. So all pre-season, including myself, we've always kind of like vindicated the big at the back formation, so investing heavily in the defense. Now in the community this week itself, without the managers of FPL in itself, what we have seen, or what I've seen specifically, is been that people are now looking to hit their wildcard and they're looking to move their funds away from the back and invest it into the forwards. So for example, we've seen a lot of transfers for players such as Reece James and Trent Alexander-Arnold, which is almost 150k managers have taken him out. Now what they've done is they've taken the funds from the back and they've invested it up front, so especially within the forward. So the most popular transfer has been Haaland. Darwin Núñez has gone up a lot as well, and Kane obviously has gone the other way, and that's pretty much due to the fact that people have just gone like for like, just like myself, as I've brought in Haaland for Kane, which the original plan was. So some people have kept a 3 premium kind of strikers draft up front, so these 3 could be kept as their strikers. Some people have gone, you know, Darwin, Haaland, Jesus, or some people have gone Kane, Haaland, Jesus. So it's a combination that they've made within themselves of their team, and people are moving away from the big at the back structure. For me, I don't think we needed to do that, because if you look at the big hitters in itself, I know Trent only got 1 point this game week. However, Cancelo got 7, Reece James got 7, Chilwell got 6. So it looks like these players are delivering on, you know, their price point. So why are we going to be moving away from that template so quickly? The fixtures do look good for those teams as well. Personally, for me, I wouldn't have hit the wild card. I think a -4 would be the maximum that I would actually personally suggest to hit, which I've taken myself. But moving away from the plan that you've made, you know, pre-season, and you stuck with that formation, I just don't see the reason after one game week for us to completely rip up that plan and move away from it. It may work for you, for sure, but will it be wise enough to hold that just for a couple of more weeks to get a bit more data and insight of how players are performing and playing within their games? So it's worthwhile keeping hold and understanding what the kind of game looks like before, you know, being knee-jerking and hitting that straight away. So for me, if you played your wild card, not a problem whatsoever, but on a whole, I think it might have been worthwhile holding it maybe till around game week 6 to 9, just to get a bit more of an understanding of how the community is thinking or what the players are showing in terms of form. But for me, I wouldn't go too big up front. I think Jesus and one of the premium like Haaland or Kane will be absolutely fine. In a couple of weeks, we might get a better understanding of having 3 up front might be a better solution. But in terms of the big hitters at the back have performed. So for me, there's no need to move away from the 5 or 4 at the back. To put 3 up front and invest your funds elsewhere, because players like Trent will come good. And the question then arises, when Trent plays well, will you then take a hit because you've already used your wild card to get Trent back into your team and make those adjustments with those transfers? So we'll have to wait and see to see if that decision has paid off in terms of a wild card so early. The next big topic, or the thoughts that are going through this community, is who's going to be our captain. Now, I put a poll out on my Twitter, and I've seen a few other polls as well on some FPL community Twitter pages. Now, what I've seen generally, consensus, on average, it's been about 75 Haaland, 25 Salah. There's no right or wrong answer. Salah is obviously a proven GOAT, a legend of the FPL game, so it doesn't make it doesn't give me any surprise the fact that he's been given the captaincy armband. However, we want to play this game for fun, so you really want to add the fun element to the game in itself. Now, why would I bring Haaland into my squad for Kane if I wasn't going to captain him? That's the big reason. So for me, captaincy is solidly as it stands, unless anything changes drastically in terms of fitness or game benching for Haaland. He will be the captain for game week 2. Salah is obviously a very close call as well, but the fixture at home for Bournemouth for me is just far too tempting. So the debate for captaincy for me will stand with Haaland. In any other season, I think Salah would have been hands down my captain again for game week 2, having Palace at home. There is a rumour in the community that Salah has never done well in game week 2, but I don't really look into trends such as those, because I think, that's just soft facts that we could look at from previous seasons. But I think in the form that he's in, and I think Liverpool want to come back with a bang in front of their home crowd, he's going to be on it. And it's a Monday night fixture, so usually I think historically Salah's done well on Monday night fixtures, so let's wait and see how it goes. But Haaland, I just loved the way he was in terms of passion. The guy got the ball, he went down for a penalty, picked the ball up, no rush in terms of complaining to officials and stuff. He literally just picked up the ball, ran straight to the spot. He was ready. He didn't care about anything. He was in motion, not wasting any time. He wants to put the ball in the back of the net, picked up the ball, ran back to the halfway line and continued playing the game. I think that's what I like to see from a player, is passion, dedication, and he actually looks like a real good signing. So can he actually break the Salah 32 goal record in a league season? I think it's going to be quite close. And I really like the Alan Shearer tweet when he scored 2 goals. He goes, only 258 more to go. So that's how highly people rate him already just after one game week. So for me, the captaincy armband will be on Haaland, and vice captain armband will be, if there is an armband for vice captaincy, the vice captaincy kind of role will be given to Salah for game week 2. Now, another question that I've seen highly talked about or discussed within the FPL community is Neto or Bailey, even Andres Pereira we've got on the bench, other 4.5 to 5 million midfielders that people have got as an enablers. Should we be patient with them? Should we transfer them out? What should we do with them? Now, this is the question that I put to everyone before the first game week deadline, is if you're going to be going for someone like Bailey at 5 mil, you have to show patience. He wasn't going to give you big returns in game week 1. The kind of players that you do bring in, like in terms of Neto, Bailey, Podence, other 5.5 like Fornell, Souček, these kind of players will get you returns here and there. Their main job is to give you the enablers, to allow you to get the other premium players into your squad. Now, Bailey I actually didn't see during the game much in the highlights. I don't even know if he played for Aston Villa. But if you've backed him, I think you should give him at least one more game, and that's against Everton. So, what better game could there be to give to Bailey to see what he could prove, and then make a decision around it. I'm backing Neto for a couple of game weeks. Yes, he had the odd chance here and there, but I think he'll do well. There's some new signings coming in as well. No Jimenez, so I think he'll get into forward positions, and the best is still to come. So for me, as I said, if you've got enablers in your team, you should be looking for them to have anywhere between 90 to 125, 130 points for the season. Yeah, they'll get the odd 2-pointers here and there, and the odd goal and big week, but that is the beauty of having them in your squad. So be patient, stick with them. If you want to rip up your squad and make a wild card and activate it and get a new kind of team forward, but then you're going to have enablers in there too, unless you go really big up the back and medium, in the front and the midfield itself. I don't really see what the purpose would be to remove these guys so quickly. So the fixtures are quite favourable. Andres Pereira, yes, he's taken assists and set pieces, and there's noise about playing him as well. I don't see any worries or concerns of why people wouldn't play him. If you've got him on the bench and you want to play him for Bailey, why not? But I think if you've backed Bailey for the first game week and you've invested 5 million into him, then give him another chance, because it wasn't a one-hit wonder. We weren't expecting massive hauls from him, so why are we disappointed or surprised? So definitely I'd say give him another chance. Who knows, he could do well this week. And if you want to play Andres Pereira, who you've seen good performances from him, get him into your team and see what you can do in terms of getting the best out of your team results. Now, we'll talk about Haaland in itself as well. So there's a lot of rumours going around that he could potentially be benched. I don't think he's going to be benched against Bournemouth at home. There's 6 to 7 day recovery period at the moment per game. There's no midweek games. Yes, later on the season, he might get the odd game here where he's benched or he comes on as a sub because there's a 5 subs rule. But I think, they want to unleash him in front of their home crowd. Whether he only plays 60 to 65 minutes, we don't know, but I think he definitely will get the start. So I have no concerns in him not starting. So the captaincy option for me won't really have much of a bearing in terms of me changing my decision. But generally, his XG 2.38. This guy is hungry for goals, and I think he's going to actually add a lot of interest to the game itself, because now the decision of who to captain, Salah or Haaland, comes into play. And obviously, right now the rank doesn't really make a difference for me. I reckon game week 8 or 9 will be where I start thinking about the ranking itself, and definitely by game week 15 to 18 I want to get around the top 1 million to 500k, then really make a stride forward near the end of the season. But for me right now, this guy has to be in your team. I certainly would recommend him being your captain, because that Bournemouth home fixture just generally screams goals for me. Who knows, Bournemouth might park the bus and it might be difficult, but this guy, he's going to send shivers down their spines, and he looks in real menace form, and I like his confidence, I really do. It's just a shame that it's Manchester City, not Manchester United, who've signed him. But this guy just looks too phenomenal for us to miss out on, and I don't think you need to worry about any rotation at the moment for him. He will get the minutes, but he might get subbed off early, like the West Ham game, just to give him rest and be ready for the next game in itself. Until like the Champions League or European game starts, I think it'd be pretty cool. And I think they won't risk him around domestic cup competitions, because they want to preserve him and keep him fresh for the Premier League itself. So guys, let's go back to the team selection itself. So that's my team selection, which you've already seen in my team selection video. So if you guys want to know what transfers I've made and what my thought process was around it, if you haven't seen the video yet, please go back and have a look. Click on the video, have a look in terms of what decisions I've made. I feel pretty confident. Yes, I've taken a -4 hit, so that kind of puts me around the 2 million manager mark to begin with. But I think there's many managers out there who've probably taken a -4 hit, or at least even a -8 in some cases, and they don't want to touch their wild card. But let's wait and see. I think I'm assuming that all my players are fit to play. There's only one player that's playing away for me, which is Kulusevski. But generally, I think captaincy on Haaland, vice captaincy on Salah. It's looking good to go. 4-4-2, I think there'll be good points to have. Hopefully I can break into the top million, if not higher. That's the aspiration to do, because the game week ranks are so close. And then let's march towards that #1 spot. If you guys like the video and the content that I'm doing, please give us a subscribe. Hit that subscribe button to help us go and achieve that 1,200 subscribers mark. If you haven't liked the video, give us a like. Be part of this FPL series, and let's do more content this season, and let's have a really good season in itself. I want you guys to take care. Be careful in this heat. It's really hot in the UK, as you guys can see from my face. It's pretty warm because I've had to turn the fan off during this video. But I hope you guys are safe. Stay tuned for the live deadline stream, which will be before the deadline on Saturday. So tune in for that, and let's have a great game week. Best of luck. Take care. We're almost there to game week 2, guys, and I'll see you soon.